Business Central landed cost. Landed cost of a product or an item is equal to, it is the total cost involved in bringing a purchased item till the seller's warehouse or the company warehouse. This includes the shipping charges, insurance charges, duties, freight charges, any other additional charge from the origin, the vendor's warehouse, to the destination, which is the seller's warehouse. So we can say that landed cost of a product is equal to purchase cost plus other additional cost till bringing the item to the company warehouse, or we can call them as inward costs. These costs can be from the same vendor to whom we are purchasing, from whom we are purchasing the item, or they can be from other vendors, such as freight or shipping charges. Invoice can be from another vendor, which is the shipping vendor. Also, these costs can be part of the same purchase invoice, or they can be another invoice from the same vendor, or another invoice from another vendor at same date or another date. Let's take an example and see the actual transactions and the impact in the system. So I'm going to create a new item. So I'll give it item code 2002. So this is of type inventory item. So these settings are fine. The item is saved. Now let me go and create a new purchase invoice. So I'll go and create a purchase order. And I'll select the same item. Let's buy 10 quantities for 100 each. Let's see the purchase amount is 1000 and there is a 25% VAT, so total amount is including VAT is 1250. Let's post this PO. So let me give invoice number. One thing, maybe this purchase includes the shipping cost or any other additional cost, so we can also go and include, if we are aware of those costs and we have the invoice in our hand, or when we receive the invoice we are clear about that additional shipping cost, we can go and in the same PO we can go and add that item charge. So that is possible, but let's proceed without doing that. So I'm going to receive an invoice. So coming back to the item, let's go to entries and let's go to ledger entries. Let me just refresh it. So now we see there is a purchase cost. So there is an item ledger entry. It shows that we have 10 invoiced quantities and the cost amount is 1000. If I go and click on this cost amount, it will show me that it is a purchase invoice cost and the cost amount is 1000. Let me quickly go and sell some quantities of the same item. So let me create a sales order. So let me create a new sales order. And let me take the same item. I am taking partial quantities. Let's say I am selling 5 quantities, and I am selling it for 150 per piece. So let's see some information. So it is 750. Let me go and post it. Coming back to the same item, and go to entries, ledger entries. So if I go and see the item ledger entries, I can see that we have sold 5 quantities. So the cost for 10 quantities was 1000. So the cost flown in this sales invoice is 500, which is cost for 5 pieces. So this is correct. Now let's go and add some additional costs for this item. So let me go and create another purchase invoice. So this purchase invoice for the additional cost can be from the same vendor, or it can be from another vendor. So let me take another vendor. So let's say I have received a shipping invoice for shipping charges from another vendor, and it can be another date also. So let me put an invoice number, and now let me go to the line, and since it's additional charges, so I'll take an item charge, and let's say this is a freight. This is a shipping invoice. Now this shipping invoice is for 200. So when I go and try posting this invoice, system will stop me because I have not linked this, assigned this additional charge, which is of type freight, to an inventory item. So how do we do that? Simply go to line, related information, and item charge assignment. So here I will click on get receipt lines. So this is the receipt line for that item. I will select this. Now next step is suggest item charge assignment. So since it's a single line, so system will automatically assign the whole amount. Otherwise system gives me different options, whether I want to assign based on volume, weight, amount, quantity. So I'll proceed, and I'll go and post this freight invoice. So after this invoice is posted, let's again go back to the item card, go to history, and go to ledger entries. So now if I see the cost amount, the additional cost has been loaded or has landed on this item, inventory item. If I click, I can see the details. So system is showing me that we have now an additional item charge of type freight, and the cost amount is 200 for the 10 quantities. Also, if we go to the posted sales shipment, we can see that the cost has flown to by sales as well on a pro rata basis. So 100 cost amount has been added because 200 freight was for 10 quantities. Since we have sold 5 quantities, so half of that cost has flown or moved to my sales as part of my cost of sales, COGS. So this is correct. Same we can see in different reports in the system. There are a lot of inventory reports. It will show us the same inventory values. So we have seen an example of landed cost in Business Central. So happy learning. Thanks for viewing.